Incredible!
After a very disappointing opening day draw to Blackburn Rovers, it's been a few days, we've tried to let the dust settle. We're going to be speaking a bit about what I think of the game in general, what I think about the club at the moment as well, and some of the fan reaction really, because obviously it is a very disappointing draw given the fact that Blackburn nearly got relegated last season. It's, there's no givens in this championship. There's definitely not in the championship this season with the amount of quality in it. But this was a game that a lot of people expected Wolves to win. Now, in my opinion, I did expect Wolves to win that, and especially after that sort of opening half an hour, really. I thought they were really, really impressive in that opening half an hour. I thought they looked good. Sort of carried that form in from the Port Vale game, from pre-season as well, and naturally looked a lot better on the ball than Blackburn, really, in most moments. I thought Adam Forshaw, was struggling throughout the first half, but second half I thought he did really, really well. And I think Wolves let Blackburn get a bit of confidence, because look, the Molineux is one of the harder games they're going to face this season, you'd imagine, even if the fact that yes, Wolves haven't been great so far. I think it's going to be one of the hardest places to come. The atmosphere was brilliant as well. The fans did everything they could, I felt, really, other until probably the 70th minute when obviously everyone was getting frustrated, and rightly so. You could sense that in the ground, really, and you could also sense that it was going to happen from the start of the season, really. If Wolves face a bit of adversity, you could sense that based on the back of last season and the fact that yes, Wolves are taking a lot of risks in bringing a new manager in, and they do want to go straight back up at the first time of asking, there is going to be that tension in the ground. But it was one of those moments where ultimately the fans want to see more, they expected more, and of course against the opposition as well, knowing that yes, they've not got the most quality in the world, albeit some very, very good players, which we did speak about in the previous video. It felt like a very disappointing game, but the dust settled now, and I want to speak a bit about the game itself and also about the reaction to it as well. As we've said in the previous video, and we've said numerous times in this one, yes, it was disappointing, and obviously there were a few impressive performances on the pitch, not mainly from Wolves players really, other than maybe Kieran Trippier and Fer Lopez, but Ali Biosu, a player that really impressed me. Now, the fallout from the game's been really interesting for a few reasons. A lot of people have tended to lose their head at the moment, and I completely get that off the back of watching that shower of rubbish for the last 5 years, really. The slow decline into a very, very poor season last year, it's completely understandable. Some of the lack of quality is completely understandable as well, and that left hand side of the defence was absolutely dreadful. Now, on that left hand side of the defence, there are a few things I want to discuss in this video. Now, Muller-Wolf, as I said in the last video, he was very, very poor with regards to defending, and I was very sort of disappointed in that, really, given the fact he had a good World Cup. But I take it with a pinch of salt now the dust settled, and I feel as though you can really judge him after he sort of gets back into a bit of playing rhythm. Obviously, Bueno played the previous game, and he's not really had a full pre-season due to the World Cup as well. Obviously, Norway getting to the stage that they did of that competition. But I'd like to see more from Muller-Wolf if he is going to play. And it looks like that might be the case more often, really, at the moment, with the likes of Hugo Bueno potentially going to Coventry City, which for me, £15 million you kind of have to take, but I would do everything I could to keep Hugo Bueno, to be honest. I think he's a crucial part of this side. He's a crucial part for Matheus Mane. I think you watch a better version of Matheus Mane when Hugo Bueno is up next to him, is that supporting cast, really plays that supporting role, and they have a good understanding, having played there together all of last season as well. I think it's absolutely crucial that Wolves do try and keep him, but can you say no to £15 million? Let me know in the comments below, because I think it's a very tough one. I don't think you can really turn it down, but equally it shows a sign that the club's in if they're going to accept that and not bring in any more replacements for the rest of the window, because players are absolutely needed. Now, I want to also discuss Jordan James, because I think it's a very interesting deal, so we'll just have a little speak about that and sort of what I think is going on behind the scenes there as well. Now, Jordan James obviously is a deal that we were all expecting to get done, a deal that I wanted to get done a long time ago. I did actually say he's one of the players that I'd like to see come to Wolves. I've said it numerous times, but it felt like it was actually going to happen. Obviously, £10 million is a no-brainer. He's a Midlands lad. You can probably entice him with that sort of homely feel, given the fact that he will be closer to his family in Birmingham. He's a player that has quality across the board. He can create chances from deep, he can score goals from deep. Got 11 goals last season for Leicester as pretty much a defensive midfielder, really playing as a box-to-box 8 in certain games as well, of course. But Jordan James, it feels like a weird one. There's not been a lot of motion in the last few days at all, and as it stands at the moment, Wolves have only brought in Kieran Trippier, Raul Jimenez and Rafiki Said, which again, he's injured, so it's like, there needs to be more improvements in this squad. They need, for me, a centre-back on that left-hand side, maybe 2 centre-backs depending on what happens with Bueno and Krejci. Ideally, Krejci stays and they're laughing, but even then, for me, I'd still be looking at another option, because what happens if Krejci stays and then gets injured as well? You're then very light in that position, and your alternative is Totti Gomez, which for me isn't good enough at this level, or doesn't have the attributes to suit this level, doesn't have the sort of concentration for this level, and definitely doesn't have the leadership skills to be a captain at Wolverhampton Wanderers, which God knows how that's even happened. It's got to be the case if he's one of the longest serving players there, because otherwise I think it stinks, to be quite honest. And that's not me being harsh, but I've never particularly rated Totti Gomez, along with the likes of Jose Sarr on a list of few players that I've never really rated that highly. But for me, as I say, they need a midfielder, they need at least one centre-back, and I think they need at least one more winger as well. Obviously, Rafiki Said to come back, but again, there's no guarantees that he comes back and is a brilliant player at the Championship level. He's an unproven player. I think they need at least 3 signings. I'd like to see 4 or 5, but that's not going to happen. I don't think 3 is going to happen under this ownership, to be quite honest. But I would like to see more happen in the window, because based on what we saw the other day, Marshall Monetzi, albeit gets the goal, and as I've said in my previous video, he has that tendency to want to go forward. He's a forward-thinking player, but he doesn't have the footballing IQ and the knowledge to stay in position, to hold that position, to know when to go and when not to go. He has played that box-crashing role now, obviously under Vitor Pereira for 2 years, really, or for a year and a half under Vitor Pereira, and sort of had that real box crashing ability, and he utilised it, but he doesn't need to do that in this system. They need a midfielder that can hold his position, that can play passes, that can get involved offensively and defensively, and there's just no one better than Jordan James to do that for me, especially for the fee. So just get it done, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Final thing, not to hammer the sort of people behind the scenes too much, because we did a hell of a lot that last season, really. But you want to see ambition, and they'd promised, Matt Jackson and Nathan Shee had promised that there was a new mindset, a new vision, a new strategy. They came out and spoke to the fans, which albeit looked very silly after obviously sacking Rob Edwards. But ultimately they've come out and been more vocal than the previous people in those roles as well. But ultimately they need to do a hell of a lot more. They need signings, yes, of course. They need to communicate with the fans and stop making false promises, because we've seen that far too often, and that's why Wolves have been in the positions they have been in, with the likes of Fosun currently and the likes of the Batty brothers, etc. That's the type of stuff that you want to see cut out at Wolverhampton Wanderers. It shouldn't be an inherent thing that has been happening for years, and it has happened for years, to be quite honest, but it needs to change. There needs to be some form of change. There needs to be an element of strategy, yes, but also an element of, look, we want to go up at the first time of asking, we're going to show you. And obviously the signings of Jimenez and Trippier nice and early did do that. They gave a good indicator of that. But there needs to be more. They need to not only get deals through the door, they need to communicate with the fans. They need to stop lying to the fans. They need to get on side with the fans. And as I say, I don't like to rant. I'm not someone that rants, and you know that. I like to think I'm quite a level-headed person when it comes to Wolverhampton Wanderers. But I do wish that, you know, there's more ambition shown, and yes, those 2 signings at the start of the window did do that, but ultimately that's not going to be enough in this division with all this quality. Now, of course, there has been a bit of a overreaction, obviously first game of the season, and I'm not going to jump on that saying, oh, Wolves are doomed, because they're not, and I still believe they will go up. But I think when you look at the likes of West Ham as well, they're suffering. Obviously, they did play a much higher calibre of opposition in Burnley as well. Zian Fleming absolutely sort of killing those in that game towards the end. But ultimately, West Ham will struggle. I mean, with the likes of Max Kilman, they're bound to at centre-half. But bigger teams that have come down, the Burnleys, the West Hams, they will struggle. Teams that are already in the division have improved. The likes of Middlesbrough improved in every position. West Brom have improved, which is going to make the games in the derby more interesting as well. And a lot of teams in and around those playoff places last season have also improved, albeit bar really Southampton. I wouldn't say they've either got better or worse, really. But I would say that there's still so much quality littered throughout this division, and teams like Blackburn are going to come to the Molineux and make it a tough game. And the fans obviously need to stick with them as much as they can, and Andre said that on social media this week. But ultimately, everyone at the club, including the players, including the backroom staff, including the likes of Matt Jackson and Nathan Shee, need to get things right in order for the fans to stick with this side after being served up a few seasons of rubbish and ultimately leading to Wolves being back in the Championship. So yes, there's a lot going on at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Do I think some of it is an overreaction? Absolutely. Yes, fans are guaranteed to sort of lose their heads after a result and a performance like that, especially in that second half against Blackburn. Completely understand. It's not cheap to go and watch Wolves. It's not cheap to go and watch any football at the moment, but especially not Wolves. I mean, as West Brom fans are going to know coming to the Molineux, judging by the ticket prices there as well. But ultimately, it's not cheap for anyone to go and pay their hard-earned money to be served up what, quite frankly, disgraceful performances, especially in that second half. I want Pajotto to do well at this football club. I want Wolves to go up, of course, that goes without saying, but there does need to be a lot more change. I also think, as I say, people need to temper their expectations, because we could be talking in 3 weeks and Wolves have won the next 3 games and you're thinking, oh, do you know what, it's fine. They've gone and knocked Sheffield Wednesday out of the cup comfortably. They've then gone and won the next 3 league games, obviously starting with Preston on the weekend, and hopefully we'll be speaking to a Preston fan for the channel as well, and we could well be in a different position in 3 weeks time. So we'll definitely see. Stay up to date with the channel if you haven't already as well. I'd very much appreciate it if you would like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. I really do appreciate the support. We are aiming for 10k by the end of the season, which is a very big ask. It's like 6.4 thousand subscribers, but if you're a Wolves fan and you want regular Wolves content about the club, about the outside of the club, about the ongoings, ex-players, anything like that, we are going to be doing all that on this channel. So thank you very much for all the support on the videos recently. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.